Okay, so I just need like about 6 minutes. So, how old were you when you lived in Brownsville when the incident happened?
Like about 15, going on 16.
And do you remember clearly what happened, or was it like...
Like clearly, no. But, we lived a couple of houses away and it was just real chaotic. Like neighbors, lights, ambulance, everything was obvious what had happened.
And that night, did your parents tell you anything about what happened? Did they go see it themselves?
I believe they spoke to like the neighbors got together because of all the commotion and stuff, and it's just that something really bad had happened, but they didn't go into like details or anything. There was too many cops.
And it's as someone who lived close by with them, would you notice any weird things that would happen, or like any strange activities from the kids or the dad, mom?
The kids were very quiet. They just gave out like really weird vibes, I would say. Like they weren't like the other neighbors. Hey, good morning, and they were just quiet. And
the parents too?
Yeah.
And how did you feel when you heard about the incident? Like, what was your initial reaction on it?
Surprised. Like, something like that happened so close, and it could have been anybody. Sad, because I have family members that are that small, and you just think like, wow, like it, in a way, like, oh, it could have been them because they were the same age, and stuff like that. Like, how can you do that to a kid, to a baby?
Yeah. Do you think that it was justified that the mom didn't get the death row because she's an illegal and not from here?
I think they're gonna play everything out. Oh, she's an illegal, like she doesn't have this right, she has this right, and all that stuff. But I think both of them should get the death penalty.
And how long did you live in Brownsville before you came over here to Mission?
For a while. I'm not sure how long. More than 5 years for sure.
And would you say that you moved over here due to the incident? How did it affect your family? Did it affect your parents in a negative way?
We didn't move to Mission necessarily because of that accident, but the neighborhood was shook after that. And then, not only that accident, things in the neighborhood started getting more, like nobody wanted to go out anymore, and so everybody started like just being more like scared around the neighborhood. So my parents slowly like detached from all that.
They drowned them in the. If I remember correctly, I can't it's been a while, and I know before my time as a law enforcement. But I think what I heard is that they did drown them first, and then they decapitated them.
Yeah.
But I think they drowned them in the form of kind of like a baptism.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, they were doing it was like a pre-ritual type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were under the influence. I know they were drug addicts and.
Yeah.
And I guess they hallucinated. I forgot what type of drug it was that they used, but they hallucinated and proceeded the decapitation of the 3 kids.
Yeah, I just need a couple questions. So you as a law enforcement, how do you feel like you would react in that type of case if you were to walk in on that?
It's different from seeing a grown adult, seeing a kid. Most of law enforcement, we are fathers. We are, parents in our own right, and sometimes it is kind of surprising. I know I've dealt with a lot of. I've dealt twice with a SIDS case, sudden infant death syndrome, where infants forget how to breathe, and the fire and showing up there, seeing an infant, deceased. It does take a toll on you. Yeah. But you gotta make sure you try to, zone it out and do the job that you're there to do.
Yeah. And if you were to ever come across a case like that, do you think like you would ever like change your mind about being law enforcement? Because I know, like you just said, it does take a toll if it's a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it would ever change my mind. Hopefully in my future career that I still have as law enforcement. Hopefully I don't encounter something like that. But if I ever do, this is a job I've always wanted to be. This is one I dedicated half of my life for, and it's something that I don't think it would affect me or would change my mind.
And do you think that the sentences that they each got, do you think it was justified for what they did?
I have mixed feelings regarding that. It's not me to say what sentences it's justified or not. As law enforcement, we do our job, and we can leave it up to the court system to go ahead and take care of that. It's I'm pretty sure it is kind of fair. It is fair in a way, but you're never gonna take the fact that they murdered their own children. And there's nothing in the world that can no punishment in the world that can decide whether it's fair or not.
And like I just said earlier, they are, I think after 40 years they will give her parole. Do you think they should keep her in, or do you think she deserves parole? Would you say, like, as a, like, not from a cop's point of view, but like as a person?
Well, as a person, I'm a father, and I, children put their trust in their parents, and they betray that trust by committing that act. As a person, I think not. I think she should spend the rest of her life in jail, because who's to say if she goes back out, she's gonna revert to it. Sometimes she might have a mental illness or something like that. And it's been the case where people have gone parole and they go back to doing the same thing that they did.
So you've been living in Brownsville your whole life?
Yeah, I grew up here.
And do you know about the incident that happened here a couple around 2003?
Yeah, I'm aware of the incident.
So as a kid growing up, knowing that, hearing that story, how do you feel? What goes on through your head?
Well, it worries me, because like it happened to anyone, or it happened to those unfortunate children, and it's kind of sad to hear about, because they were their parents, and you grow up knowing that your parents are supposed to love you, and then that just unfortunately happens, and it worries me and other people, because it just happened out of nowhere.
And knowing all this, do you know that they built a park where they were murdered?
Yes, I'm aware that they built a park.
Have you visited the park?
Not yet, but I've seen pictures of it, and it's really touching how they planted the 3 trees for the children.
And have you heard about how the guy the father who murdered his kid with the kids, they reopened the trial pleading that he was falsely accused guilty. How do you feel
yes.
about that? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't think that it should be reopened. I think they found enough evidence proving that he murdered his 3 children.
And your family, do they have anything on the topic? Have they ever told you any, like, how did you hear about it? Like, were it from your friends? Did your parents tell you about it, or just something that gets brought up?
Well, my parents told me about it a couple of years back, and it was not traumatizing, but it was messed up hearing what the parents did to their kids.
And your parents, were they living in Brownsville at the time?
Yes, they were. And we still are.
Did they ever tell you about considering moving after that incident, as it, like...
Not really. It's just more of being aware of your surroundings, or being aware in general, not letting your guard down.
And did your parents ever tell you how, or have you yourself experienced how it's impacted your community, the area you live in?
Yeah. Well, ever since it happened, I mean, obviously more children hear about the story, they get scared, and there's kind of fear growing in the community of something happening like that again.